Grave of the Fireflies is one of the most tender stories I've ever seen. This film is a Japanese animated production from 1988, and it puts many Disney movies to shame. This film is up there with Bambi and Snow White as the best animated films I've ever seen in my life. The film's strive for realism and its dark atmosphere remind me, paradoxically, of Uwe Boll's Darfur. But its story does two things that are wildly different from Darfur. First off, it mostly avoids showing us starkly horrifying images of war-torn regions, at least after the first act. Second off, it truly creates and fleshes out two characters and makes us care so deeply for them that we're moved not by the war, but by the way two children deal with it. The film follows Seita, a young teenager whose father's in the Japanese Navy. He lives with his mother and infant sister Setsuko. They live in a small Japanese village and have almost no idea of how the war is going on, except when air raids strike and the village is completely destroyed. With their mother horribly injured, it's up to Seita to take care of his sister. The only story I've seen that could really be compared to this is The Road. But this is not a grown man looking after his son. This is a pre-teen who's struggling to play father, mother, and brother to Setsuko. The film is very touching in the way it shows these two. Anyone could relate to this film simply through human emotions. The best thing is that a 5-year-old girl actually was found for the role of Setsuko, and the voice of Seita did a great job as well. The film does not focus on the war, but instead focuses on the children's reactions to it. Their little world is broken by airstrikes, but no news is ever accumulated on how the war is until much later in the film. Hiroshima and Nagasaki aren't even mentioned in the film. The film's interested only in showing war's effects on a small scale, so that we can put a face to the suffering. And even when Seita takes his sister to the beach for a grab at innocent fun, there is a sadness looming in the distance as the planes appear. To best enjoy the film, I recommend you watch it in the original Japanese language with the appropriate subtitles below. Dubbed films annoy me, and I'd much rather personally read subtitles than see a dubbed film any day. It takes away from the realism and from the actual seriousness of the film, in my opinion. Also, I apologize to any Japanese viewers about my mispronunciation of the names. I just wasn't sure how you pronounce them in your language. Sorry. Just bear with me. And for you guys and everyone else, remember that this is not a film about blame for the war. This is not an accusing finger at the United States, nor is it an acknowledgement of guilt towards Japan. The film couldn't care less about the big picture. It focuses on two characters that we watch grow during the war times, and it lets us grow attached to them. I will not give away what happens exactly in the story, but I myself think that Seita and Setsuko should be counted as two of the most memorable siblings in film history. Asian cinema is not my area of expertise, but it's not new to me either. Certainly it's wildly different from the usual Hollywood and Western cultures. But in some ways, it's exactly the same. This tender story could have been set in many times of crisis and war. The two characters didn't have to be Japanese, but it's just a unique part of their character. They come alive on screen and make us smile at their happy times, and there were times where I actually wept as I watched. This is truly an example of moving cinema, and may it be cherished forever as one of the greatest full-length animated films yet made.